Jai Hind, Brigadier Hemant Mahajan welcomes you to another session on national security. The topic we are going to talk today is on latest situation in Afghanistan. Right from 15th of August and today we are at 29th of August, the world and the media has been talking of Afghanistan, Taliban, its effect on the world, its effect on India. What we will do today is not repeat anything, but only focus on issues, important issues that have taken place since our last talk about a week back. I will, of course, use a PowerPoint presentation to make you understand the geography of this particular place. Because unless you understand the geography of Afghanistan, you are unlikely to understand as to what are the issues. Because Afghanistan today is a landlocked country. So very briefly, I'll touch upon Afghanistan, its neighboring countries. Thereafter, we'll talk about its importance to rest of the world, its importance to America, but more important as to what is the importance to India. Because at the end of the day, our national security is one which we need to take care of. And the title of my talk today is the world getting sucked up into a black hole called Afghanistan? Because traditionally, nobody has ever been able to tame Afghanistan. And it has been very repeatedly, we have talked about it, that Afghanistan has been a graveyard of superpowers. In the 19th century, Great Britain lost 4 wars here. In 1980s to 90, the USSR, which was a battle-hardened country, having fought in the Second World War, having the most modern of technology, they lost their war here. They were defeated. And now today's only superpower, United States of America, has more or less run away from here without being able to achieve anything. So quickly look at Afghanistan. On the northern side, it has border with Central Asian republics. You can see countries such as Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. These are the Central Asian countries. Then it has a small border with China, and China is very scared that the Afghan violence will spread into Xinjiang province of China. Then it has a long border with Iran. And Iran, when I show you the map of Afghanistan, there are Hazaras who are inside Afghanistan who are Shias, and Iran is a Shia state. While Afghanistan is a Muslim country, 98% Muslims, consisting of nearly 90% of Sunnis and remainder Shias. So Hazaras inside Afghanistan are Shias, and you can call them as Iran supporters. And of course, Afghanistan has a very long border with Pakistan, which is also called as the Durand line. What we need to understand is the 45% of Afghan population is Pashtuns or Pathans or Pakhtuns. Nearly 1 crore stay on their side, and nearly 1.5 to 2 crores is staying on the side of Pakistan. That means the Pathan population is divided on both the sides of the Durand line, and they are the major power holders as far as Pakistan, as far as Afghanistan is concerned, or as far as China is concerned. So have a look at these countries who are on the side of Pakistan, on the Afghanistan. And what we must understand from this map is Afghanistan does not have a sea border. It is a landlocked country, and the nearest sea border is via Iran or via Afghanistan. There are only 2 ways Afghanistan can come out, because up on the top are the Central Asian republics. You can't go from there. China, you can't go from there. India, there is no direct boundary. So therefore, Iran is equally important, and so is Pakistan as far as Afghanistan is concerned. And China is quite far away, but China is trying to poke its nose here. As far as we are concerned, there are some experts who have been trying to say that Afghanis, which defeated three superpowers, if they come to India and Pakistan will force them to come to India, will they come from the Indo-Pakistan border, from the line of control, from other areas, and will the Indian army be able to fight it? In very briefly, I want to tell you that Indian army has a vast experience of fighting with these Afghanis or with these Pathans or the Pathans living on both sides of Durand line, and India has defeated them in 1947 war. It has defeated them in the 1965 war, and also they have been coming regularly in Kashmir to fuel terrorism there. We have defeated them there also. So we don't need to worry. But very briefly, we'll talk about Pakistan. Pakistan today is on a cloud nine. Pakistan feels that having won the Afghanistan war without firing a single bullet, it has become very relevant as far as the world politics is concerned. Everybody feels that it is Pakistan which is controlling Taliban mostly. So Pakistan will gain a lot of advantage. Now the issue is Afghanistan being ruled by Taliban. Is it an advantage to Pakistan? Does it provide a strategic space that Pakistan has been talking along? What it feels is, should India attack Pakistan, then Pakistani Air Force can fall into Afghanistan? Or is it that Afghanistan is using Pakistan? Who's using more? Is Pakistan using Afghanistan more, or is Afghanistan using Pakistan more? Today, what we must understand is all the sanctuaries of Taliban and most world terrorist groups is on the Durand line, both sides of the border. So this is a great opportunity for India to collect all the proof and prove it to the world that Pakistan is a country which sponsors terrorism. And there's a world body of the United Nations called as the Financial Action Task Force, which keeps a watch on how Pakistan is helping terrorists. It has already put Pakistan on the grey list. Now, by providing proof, which is appearing in plenty in various forms of media, we can ensure that Pakistan gets listed as a terror sponsoring state and economic sanctions are imposed on Pakistan. Second effect on Pakistan has been that a large number of Afghan refugees have come into Pakistan, putting the stress on Pakistan's economy. As it is, Pakistan's economy is in doldrum. It is one of the highly indebted countries. It has already become an economic slave of Pakistan. And what you see in this map is a big white elephant called as the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, 4,500 kilometers corridor, which starts from Gwadar port of Pakistan and goes into China, basically the Xinjiang province. It's a white elephant. $16 billion have been sunk into that. And what has been the return out of it? Absolutely nothing. Pakistan's major industry is terrorism, and it does not require road and such like infrastructure. China was expecting that 5,000 ships will come to Gwadar, from where it can trade into the area of Xinjiang, but that is not happened. In fact, the CPSC corridor is under attack by the Balochistan Liberation Army, and Pakistan has used more than 2 divisions to protect the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. And also what we must understand here is nearly 50% of the Pakistani army is carrying out anti-terrorist operations either in Balochistan or in the Northwest Frontier Province, etc. So therefore, it is got deeply struck up in fighting the terror activities in Pakistan. And not only that, now the major source of Afghanistan is narcotics or Afu Ganja charas. Now that Afu Ganja charas is being smuggled very heavily into Pakistan. So Pakistan will become a drug addict country. Pakistan was very happy that $100 billion of arms have been left by the United States in Afghanistan, and most of the major weapons will find its way into Pakistan, which of course will happen, if not most, but at least many. But will that help Pakistan? Pakistan is simply scared of fighting any war with India. So where will they use these weapons? You may have helicopters, you may have all or gunships, etc. But this can be used only in a conventional war. What will be of more concern to India is that USA has left a lot of small arms behind, plus a lot of night vision equipment, etc., which can be used by terrorists. Yes, that is definitely a threat, no doubt on this issue. But what is important is small arms was never in short supply as far as the terrorists were concerned. They always had adequate small arms. The constraining factors has been the availability of ammunition, because a weapon once given can live for 20 years, while ammunition once fired cannot be recycled. So therefore, the so many weapons being left behind will hardly have any impact on improving the quality of terrorism. But yes, 50 to 60,000 Talibanis who have who have now uh, become without a job, or at least in due course, will then be used? Will they be used against India? The short answer is Taliban has won a war against USA, but governing the country is going to be a huge problem. So therefore, they will focus firstly on forming government, running the country. Only after that, they will start thinking of anybody else. And Taliban has a number of times said that we will not attack India, or we will not interfere into Kashmir. But well, that is something which the promises is something which they don't keep a tag of. As far as China is concerned, some experts feel that Chinese will now get into Afghanistan, and the vacuum left behind by USA will be utilized by China to get inside. Will that be a great opportunity for China, or will it also ensure that another superpower or an economic power or a military power gets sucked into a black hole called Afghanistan and Pakistan? More likely that they are going to get sucked up into a black hole. People are talking that China will aid Afghanistan. How much aid will they give? The issue is today 85% of the Afghanistan economy was by aid from America and the various agencies of world economic bodies such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. So now the aid which has been cut off now, and a lot of money of Afghans has been stuck up into the US bonds, into the US Treasury, into the United States banks, etc. Will China replace them? Well, economically, China has capability, but again, the money will be sunk into a black hole. Now, most important issue is what will China gain from there? Some armchair strategists talk about huge natural resources that are lying in Afghanistan, which China will use. $3 trillion or some such figure is always quoted by some experts. Now, if Afghanistan was such a natural resource rich country, why didn't the Americans utilize the natural resources? America is world number one as far as technological power is concerned. They are one of the most efficient and the biggest corporate world in the whole world. And it was ruling Afghanistan for 20 years. If they could not utilize the natural resources because of security reasons, because of corruption, because of economy of scale, will the Chinese be able to do it? Some people feel yes. I will personally say that China will not be exploit too many natural resources from Afghanistan. And the last issue with regard to China is China feels that it can connect its road from, let us say, it is already has a China-Pakistan economic corridor, which is in Pakistan. Now, it will possibly connect this economic corridor from Pakistan and join it up, and it will join it with, let us say, Kabul. Now, will they be able to join it with Kabul? Well, I don't think it is going to be easy, simply because Kabul is another place where there is hardly any economic activity. As far as Pakistan is, as far as China is concerned, the Afghan economy is not a very efficient economy. So if how will it help if this economic corridor, if via Khyber Pass or something, it is joined up to Kabul, and after that they expect that they will join it up with Turkmenistan, they will join it up with Uzbekistan, they will join it up with Kazakhstan, and maybe they will from here try and go to Iran also. Well, Afghanistan is a very rugged country. Joining access from there is not going to be easy. Security is going to be an issue. And all these ethnic tribes will ensure that a lot of extortion takes place. So one white elephant called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor will be joined with another white elephant called Kabul. And from there, extending line to Central Asian republics is not going to be easy. So it's more of a dream which they think they will be able to do, but looks very unlikely in a near or middle term future. Again, have a look at Afghanistan surrounded by the Central Asian republics and see how landlocked it is. Now, next issue is, let us look at the composition of Afghanistan, because a lot of people have been talking now what will happen to the rest of the world. Afghanistan is not a cohesive country. Pashtuns or Pathans or Pakhtuns are 42%, but nearly 58% of Afghanistan population is non-Pashtuns or non-Pathans. They are Uzbeks, Hazaras, Tajikis, etc. And what we have to understand is Hazaras are Shia and they are against Sunni. Uzbeks and Tajiks, which were in earlier days called as the Northern Alliance, are not those hardcore, and they also want to have a share in their power. And one has heard a lot about Ahmad Shah Massoud, the lion of Panjshir Valley, who's in this particular yellowish area, and he is opposing Taliban coming in this area. Of course, Ahmad Shah Massoud died in 2001 due to an IED blast, but his son Ahmad Massoud is very active, and he says he will not let Taliban come. There have been reports of fighting between them, and there are reports that the Northern Alliance is getting formed up again. Now, as far as Pakistan is concerned, it is one of the most militarized country. There are far too many drugs that keep on flowing here. There are far too many terrorist organizations that come and go. Afghanistan-Pakistan border is more or less open. A lot of cross-border movement takes place. So therefore, Pakistan is doomed as far as violence is concerned. Already there is a Balochistan liberation movement which is going on in Balochistan, and we know a lot about it. In last 15 days, there have been number of attacks on the Chinese, and Chinese have lost as many as 16 to 17 of their civilians killed. And there was a video which was viral on the social media that each Chinese who's working there has been told that he is responsible for his own security, so he should carry an AK-47 rifle here. So there's a liberation movement in Balochistan. There's a liberation movement which is going on in Sindh, which is called Geo Sindh. Then as far as Northwest Frontier Province is concerned, it is one of the most unstable regions in the whole world, and the Pathans live in this area. And these are the same Pathans which have been defeated in 47 war, in 65 war, and in 71 war by the Indian Army. So Pakistan is in a very difficult times. If they think they can use Afghanistan as a strategic depth, it is actually the other way around. Afghanis are using Pakistan more, and Pakistan in the days to come is going to get more and more caught into the black hole of Afghanistan. So I will go ahead on the talks of Northern Alliance being formed, where the non-Pashtuns come together, is what has been talked about. And as far as the Afghanistan is concerned, very briefly, I would only talk of two things. One is Afghanistan's informal economy or the black economy, and Afghanistan's formal economy. Now, Afghanistan informal economy, that is the economy of Taliban, was worth about $1.5 billion. They depended mostly on extortion, help from some Muslim countries, help from some NGOs, also, let us say, the trading of trade, which is basically smuggling of arms, ammunition, and narcotics. This was worth 1.5 crores. As this economy cannot sustain a government, because when you form a government, you have a central government, you have a state government, you have a government at the level of cities and small towns and villages. Where will the money to run the government come from? There is simply no money. So therefore, the money has to come from legal resources. And what are these legal resources? The legal resources are imports, exports, mining, etc. Now that is not forthcoming in a big way. So therefore, Taliban is in deep trouble. I'll not get into it. Its non-state income is more than the state income. So therefore, how much of its economy will be able to sustain the government, only time will tell. As far as India is concerned, we need not be in a hurry to recognize Taliban. We should tell Taliban very clearly that if you ever interfere in Jammu and Kashmir, we will carry out no developmental activity. We also have to tell them that you do not be under the thumb of Pakistan. It is not going to be good for you. So I think possibly movement in Afghanistan is going to help us in one issue. That is basically what is going to happen is this will expose Pakistan to the world eyes. World will realize as to what kind of a problem is Pakistan creating for everybody. And this is what is going to get Pakistan into deep trouble. It is also felt that one of the solutions to sorting out Pakistanis forever is Pakistan in due course will get divided into many countries. Balochistan will become a independent country because they want to have their own government. Sindh is also likely to be an independent country. As far as the Pakhtuns are concerned, or as far as Northwest Frontier Province is concerned, or as far as FATA, that is federally administered tribal areas are concerned, they will most probably join Afghanistan. Pakistani occupied Kashmir will join India, and Punjab will also become an independent country. That is possibly as far as long-term future is concerned. As far as India is concerned, we should be very, very clear that we can help Taliban, we can help them only if they do not bring terrorism into our country and do not become a vassal state of Pakistan. So with this, the interference of the Afghanis or the Talibanis or the Pathans or the Pashtuns into the area of Jammu and Kashmir is not going to be easy. Indian Army is strongly deployed on the anti-infiltration road, which you can see here. This is the LOC from where the infiltration takes place, and we have a strong presence here. Passing nearly 95% of efficiency has been achieved, and I had mentioned to you that nearly 25 to 30,000 Pathans were brought in by the Pakistani army to invade state of Jammu and Kashmir in 1947. Over a period of 2-3 months, Indian army killed them or neutralized them. That was the first time the Pakistani Pathans were defeated by the Indian army. Similar stuff was done in 1965, called as Operation Gibraltar, which was started 3 months before the Conventional War of 1965. Again, Indian army neutralized them, killed them, caught them in a very short time frame. something similar, and lot of Baluchi battalions, lot of Pathan battalions were also there in the 1971 war, the ones who surrendered to India in Bangladesh. So today, Pakistan has also tried pushing them for terrorist activities in Jammu and Kashmir, and we have been able to kill most of them. In fact, life of a terrorist in Pakistan is not, a Pakistani trained terrorist is not more than 1 year as far as Kashmir is concerned. So today, Pakistan is in deep doldrums. This is a pictorial representation on how Pakistan fuels terrorism into India. What is this pink line is basically the line of control, recruitment rallies in Pakistan, funding, moving to training camps, indoctrination in madrasas, indoctrination online. After the training is complete, the terrorists in a group of 8 to 10 link up with their guides and try to infiltrate into India. This is what Pakistan will try to do in the days to come. But we have a very good anti-infiltration grid, and Kashmir Valley today is the only area inside Kashmir where there are still resident terrorism is there. So while Pakistan will definitely try to create problems for us, but what we must understand is we are more than capable of taking care of anti-terrorist operations. However, Indian Army will have to shed a lot of blood, and a lot of our soldiers are going to get martyred. But we are capable of protecting our country. Some of the heroes, Major Kaustubh Rane and his equally brave wife, Kadika, and she has recently been commissioned. I will not talk about surgical strike. Colonel Santosh Madik, another hero who killed 3 terrorists, his wife, Swati. Now she is an officer in the Indian Army. So Indian Army has a past of very brave soldiers. There is one Havaldar Chandrabhan Pawar, who got a Shaurya Chakra for killing terrorists. Here is Havaldar Santosh Rade, now a Subedar, and these are the awards which Indian Army has won. So I think we are more than capable of meeting the challenge of the Taliban. We should not worry about it. However, what is important is that we must be ready to face this Pakistani challenge for a sufficiently long time, because Pakistan will go all out as far as creating problems for India is concerned. So I think what is important is that we should be ready for the worst contingency. We should be ready to face any security challenges which will come in the days to come. The nation has to get united. All political parties, everybody in India have to stand behind the security forces to ensure that we are ready to face challenges whenever they come. I will now just cover certain important aspects which have come up in last 2 days. One is a good information that one of the members of Taliban called Sher Muhammad Abbas, he's given an interview today. He says that we should have good ties with India. Now, this is important. Taliban, one of the most important leaders, Sher Muhammad Abbas, he says good ties with India. Now, who is he? And this is the first time a Taliban leader has spoken about India in a important way in front of the media. He was the same person who had been trained by the Indian Army in 1980s. He passed out of Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. He was a cadet with us there. And now today, he's one of the most important members of Taliban. And we have connected with him. And hopefully, he'll be able to secure India's interest under the Taliban government. Because a large number of Afghanis in 70s, 1980s, 90s have been trained in National Defense Academy, Khadagpasla, in Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. And this person was trained in IMA, Dehradun. And they have a very high regard for India. So I am sure with these friends in Taliban, we will be able to protect our national interest. Very briefly, I'll talk about ISIS attack which took place on the USA, in which 13 US soldiers were killed, 150 other civilians were killed, and USA thereafter claimed claimed to have launched a drone attack in which the two ISIS people were killed. Is it true? Well, yes, it is somewhat true. What is ISIS-K or ISIS-Khorasan, sir? It is basically another extremist group, another terrorist group which want to spread terrorism in the whole world. USA has been after this ISIS-K since a long time, and they had influence in 3 districts of Afghanistan. USA told Taliban to control them. Thereafter, one would remember that it carried out a lot of bombing. However, the USA's, as far as USA's weapons are concerned, technology is concerned, they could not tame these people because ISIS-K stays in area like Tora Bora mountains. They stay inside the terrains, and the drones are not very effective. So USA had used some very huge bombs in this area to bomb them, but they have not been successful. So will the ISIS launch attacks on USA in the foreseeable future? Yes, that possibility is again there. Will USA again attempt to kill them? Yes, it will do it. But USA will restrict itself to only attacking ISIS-K. So therefore, as far as Taliban is concerned, they are unlikely to tamper with them. So this battle of attrition between various terrorist groups such as Al-Qaeda, ISIS-K with the United States and the Western world will go on, and our intelligence agency should be ready. In fact, one of the most important national assets that we have to guard in Afghanistan is not the developmental work which is done, which we have done there. We have to ensure that our human intelligence functions in Afghanistan, and this human intelligence is able to stop in track all the Pakistani mischief which Pakistan will do via Taliban. So our presence is not for developmental activities. Well, yes, that can carry on, but important is that we keep a watch on Pakistani activities there, because Kabul today is under the thumb of a group called Haqqani Network, and Haqqani is Pakistan-sponsored terrorist. So even Lashkar-e-Toba, etc., are also active there. And yesterday, again, there was an important news that Jaish-e-Mohammed chief, I repeat, Jaish-e-Mohammed is a terrorist group, its chief, Maulana Masood Azhar, had met the Talibani leaders asking their help to restart terrorism in Kashmir. Well, yes, he would definitely get some help, but as I mentioned to you earlier, Pakistan will attempt all these activities, and we have to be ready for a long haul. So how do we deal with them? This will become clearer in the days to come. We should not be in a hurry to recognize Taliban. I will now touch upon only 2 issues. That is the role of private contractors or private soldiers or private armies or mercenary armies in Afghanistan and its implication for India also. All of you must have heard the USA lost about 2,500 soldiers here. But what is not known is USA also lost about 4,500 to 5,000 contractors here, USA contractors. Now, who are these USA contractors? They are called as Blackwater, or they are called, they have now changed their name. They are now called as Academy. Now, what is this? USA or any developed country is very scared of losing its soldiers anywhere. In fact, the most important reason as to why USA is gone away from Afghanistan is because they don't want body bags to come back. So what did they do? They reduced the footprints of USA soldiers in Afghanistan over a period of time, and all the works which soldiers were supposed to do, a lot of it was given to the private contractors. Now, who are these private contractors? They actually are the retired army personnel. They were themselves commandos, highly qualified people, and this Blackwater company was given the task of carrying out supplies, carrying out movement of arms, ammunition, protecting certain areas, protecting certain VIPs. Not only that, almost every task which in our army is done by supporting services like Army Supply Corps or Army Ordnance Corps, which supplies ammunition, or Army Medical Corps, which looks after the medical part of it. Injured soldiers get treated there. Or let us say supporting arms like artillery, which provides artillery support, etc., or engineering tasks to construct roads, etc. Most of this work was given to these private contractors called Blackwater, and they have lost 4,500 people. They were highly skilled professionals, highly skilled soldiers who had retired. Of course, they got 3 times more money than what an average soldier would get. So these private armies, private security contractors, well, they've been India also, not in that manner, but today most of the cooperative housing societies have private security guard. So these are basically private security companies which are controlled by on which there are some rules and regulations are there, but basically retired policemen, retired military personnel, or even home guards, etc., or some normal civilians also get enrolled into that. But command and control mostly remains with police oblique, retired police oblique, retired military personnel. So something similar happens in our country, but we use it for a passive role, that is basically ensuring security of the societies, etc. But in America, they are using it for fighting. And similarly, this is also being used by Russia. Russia has a private army called the Wagner Group, which again Russia uses to create problems in other Central Asian republics which have become independent. Russia wants them to come to, again, make them join Russia, and most of these countries are not willing to join, etc. So there these private armies are being used. So private armies do all kinds of jobs, including killing important leaders of terrorist groups, etc. So in the days to come, possibly USA will use these private armies to deal with terrorist groups such as the Taliban, such as, let us say, ISIS-K, etc. So we have to ensure that we keep a watch on what kind of activities taking place and guard our national interest. So I think I'll stop here and I'll see if there are any questions that have come up. If there are any questions, I will take them on. Otherwise, we will wind up. Till the time I find out as to what kind of questions people have asked, I want to tell you here that basically we have to ensure that we protect our national interest. If you have liked this video, do try and share it with as many people as possible. And of course, what I would say is that this will also be put on the YouTube, or it's already on the YouTube. So please share the link with as many people so that we are able to look after them. Now, there are some questions which have come up here. I will read some of them because I'm on a different computer. I'll just take few questions. Okay. Okay. First, Sakshi Agarwal ji is saying Jai Hind, Jai Hind. Shivananda Talwadekar is saying Jai Hind. Yes, Jai Hind ji. Yogesh Kole ji is saying Jai Hind. Manjiri Marathe is also on the line. Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you for attending in large number. Anil Joshi ji is there. Now, there's a long remark by Shri Rajendra Gashmer. You are speaking very true about Pakistan, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Rajendra ji, for having passed a compliment. And Rajendra ji is saying, without destroying Pakistan, we Indians can never live in peace. I will offer very as positive comments as we can. Our enemy today is not the Pakistani people, because any society wants to live in peace, but it is the rulers of Pakistan, that is the ISI, the Pakistani army, the terrorist group, etc. So if Balochistan becomes a separate independent country, yes, we would want to help them. If Sindh becomes a different country, yes, we would want to help them. So I'm sure during our time only we will see these countries becoming independent. Now, Udayji is also saying that will the left war machines behind be shifted to Pakistan and analyzed by China as far as the weapons are concerned? Udayji, I had spoken about it. $100 billion worth equipment has been there. So one of the theories is if these weapons will go to China, yes, it will definitely go to China. China is known for carrying out reverse engineering. But the issue is चाइना टुडे ये सबके बाप है, इन्होंने जितनी रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग करनी थी वो पहले से ही करके रखी हुई है. रियली स्पीकिंग, देयर इज नो weapon which is not been reverse engineered by China. And what happens is the most critical component of any weapon system, that is basically the software, that is taken away, because that is what is the brain which runs any system. So that has been taken away. So to that, of course, I'm sure China can hack into something, China can get some private contractors, etc. But this equipment which has been left behind is basically for a conventional war. Yes, China can utilize, definitely use some of them. Even Pakistan can use them because, however, maintaining this equipment is very, very costly. For example, if you want to travel on the streets of Pune and if you have an SUV, it is not very easy. On streets of Pune, if you want to maneuver, you use a two-wheeler. So these costly machines will only create further problems for economy of Pakistan. And it can be used, but its life is limited. In few years, it will get rectified, it will get nullified. But yes, to some extent, they can be used. What is of more relevance is the small arms. But small arms also, the terrorist groups never felt the shortage. Ammunition, yes. Yogesh Burke Patil saying, Vande Mataram ji, yes. Uday will be saying ki disintegration of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Well, disintegration of Afghanistan. Afghanistan actually has always been a tribal society, sub-tribal, sub-ethnic. While we may show a map of Afghanistan, I tried to show you a map of other areas, non-Pashtun areas. They all are independent. So while loosely they're controlled by Afghanistan, but actually they have their own people. If you go in that area, they have their own taxation system. So Afghanistan is not a very cohesive area. How will they last? Time will only tell us. But modern governance of whole of Afghanistan is going to be the biggest challenge that the Talibanis will face in the days to come. Rajendra Gashberji is written a long comment. So far, I think we should help the Taliban government, etc. I have talked about it. We help Taliban presently with nothing. We protect our interest. Habib, we should follow a policy of wait and watch. Let Taliban get involved. The moment they start interfering with the Kashmir, we are not going to be friends with them. It is Taliban which requires us more than we requiring India. We have hardly any interest in, frankly speaking, Afghanistan. All those interests, mostly the interests there are to keep a watch on what the Pakistan is doing. And we have some assets inside our friends in Taliban. So it is Taliban who requires us more. We should not be in a hurry to be friends with them. Presently, let us just keep wait and watch policy. Afghanistan is going to be a challenge which we are going to face over a period of time. So let us see how the situation evolves. So thanks a lot for your response. And I think time for me to stop now. So I'll stop here, but definitely share this video with as many people as possible. I say Jai Hind and say bye-bye to you. Bye-bye and Jai Hind once again.